I, 52M, have been married to my wife, 48F, for 23 years. We met in our late 20s, built a life together, raised 2 kids, now grown, and until a few months ago, I honestly thought we were one of those solid couples. Sure, we had our ups and downs, but I believed in us. About 6 months ago, I started noticing little shifts in her behavior. She suddenly became glued to her phone, laughing at texts she wouldn't share, staying up late, working in the living room when she never did before. She also started dressing nicer for girls' nights, nights she never seemed to have in the past 20 years of our marriage. I chalked it up to midlife changes at first. Maybe she was just rediscovering herself. But something felt off. The warmth between us was gone. Conversations turned into arguments over the smallest things. Whenever I asked what was wrong, she snapped back with, "You're imagining things. Don't be paranoid." But the thing is, I wasn't paranoid. One Saturday morning, my wife said she was going to brunch with her friend, Carla. Now, Carla is someone I know well, she's been to our house countless times. Out of curiosity, I called Carla a few hours later to ask if she could pick up some old tools from the garage her husband left here. Carla sounded confused. She said, "Wait, what brunch? I haven't seen my wife's name in weeks." My stomach dropped. I didn't confront my wife right away, instead, I waited. When she came home later that afternoon, she smelled like a mix of perfume and cologne, and when I hugged her, she stiffened like she didn't want to be touched. I asked her how brunch was. She smiled and said, "Oh, you know Carla, she never shuts up." That was the exact moment I realized she was lying to my face. My gut screamed at me to dig deeper. A week later, she had another girls' night. This time, I decided not to sit at home wondering. I got in my car and drove to the restaurant she claimed she and her friends were meeting at. I sat in the parking lot for an hour. No sign of her. Finally, I went inside and asked a hostess if she had seen my wife. She shook her head. On my way back home, I saw her car parked 2 blocks from a hotel. My heart started racing, my hands shaking so badly I could barely keep the steering wheel straight. I didn't go in, I couldn't. The thought of seeing her in there with someone else made me sick to my stomach. Instead, I parked where I had a clear view of the entrance. 2 hours later, I saw her walk out. She wasn't alone. A man in his late 40s was with her, tall, sharp suit, smug smile. They kissed quickly before splitting off into different cars. That image burned into my brain. My wife of 23 years, kissing another man like a teenager sneaking around. I drove home in silence, numb, rehearsing in my head 1,000 ways I could confront her. That night when she walked in, pretending like nothing happened, I couldn't hold it in anymore. I asked, "So, how was girls' night?" She smiled and said, "It was fun, Carla and I had a blast." My blood boiled. I stared at her and said, "Funny, because Carla told me she hasn't seen you in weeks. And I saw your car parked outside the Holiday Inn." Her face went pale for half a second, then she snapped. "Are you spying on me now? Jesus, you're pathetic. Maybe if you paid more attention to me, I wouldn't have to go out." That cut deep. Instead of denying it, she went straight to blaming me. I pressed harder, asking who the man was. She rolled her eyes and said, "He's just a friend from work. We had drinks, that's all. Stop being dramatic." But I'd seen them kiss. I told her that. She smirked and muttered, "You must have imagined it. You're paranoid." The gaslighting hit me harder than the truth. She was caught red-handed, and yet she was still twisting the knife, trying to make me doubt myself. In that moment, I realized, I didn't just lose my wife. I lost the person I thought she was. After I called her out, things spiraled fast. She started yelling about how I was controlling, how I never trusted her, and how she deserved happiness. I was standing there, dumbfounded, while she turned the whole thing around on me. I said, "You're cheating, and somehow I'm the problem." She grabbed her purse and shouted, "I don't have to explain myself to a paranoid old man," and stormed out of the house. I sat in the kitchen for hours, just staring at the wall. My hands were shaking so badly I couldn't even hold a glass of water without spilling it. It felt like the ground had been ripped out from under me. Around midnight, she came back, cool as ever, and acted like nothing had happened. She brushed past me, went upstairs, and slammed the bedroom door. I slept on the couch that night, my mind racing. Anger. Confusion. Grief. They all hit me at once. The woman I built my life with wasn't just lying to me. She was living a whole other life, and she didn't even feel guilty. The next morning, she acted like the previous night's explosion never happened. She even made coffee, humming in the kitchen like everything was normal. I couldn't take it anymore, I needed proof. Something undeniable. While she was in the shower, I checked her phone. It was locked with a new passcode. She never used to lock it. That alone told me everything I needed to know. So I went to our shared laptop instead. She'd forgotten to log out of her email. There it was. Dozens of messages between her and a man named D. Flirty messages. Hotel reservations. Pictures. She even sent him a photo from our bed while I was at work. My stomach turned. I had to run to the bathroom and throw up. When I finally pulled myself together, I printed the emails. I wanted something in my hands, something real, so she couldn't spin it around and make me feel crazy again. The worst part? Their conversations weren't just about sex. She was telling him things she never told me, how she felt alive with him, how she couldn't wait to start fresh. It hit me then, she wasn't planning on just cheating. She was planning on leaving me. That night, I waited until she sat down with her glass of wine, scrolling on her phone. I dropped the stack of printed emails right in front of her. Her face went blank, then she laughed, actually laughed, and said, "Wow. Snooping through my emails now? How low can you go?" I snapped back, "Don't turn this on me. You've been sneaking around, lying to my face, and humiliating me in my own home. Who the hell is D?" She rolled her eyes and said, "He's just someone who actually listens to me. Something you stopped doing years ago." My chest felt like it was caving in. I yelled, "You're planning to leave me, aren't you? Don't deny it, I read everything." She set her glass down calmly and said, almost smugly, "Maybe I am. Maybe I deserve better than being stuck with someone who doesn't make me feel alive anymore." I wanted to scream. To break something. Instead, I just stood there, trembling, while she walked upstairs without another word, like she had just dropped a bomb and left me in the ruins. That night, I waited until she sat down with her glass of wine, scrolling on her phone. I dropped the stack of printed emails right in front of her. Her face went blank, then she laughed, actually laughed, and said, "Wow. Snooping through my emails now? How low can you go?" I snapped back, "Don't turn this on me. You've been sneaking around, lying to my face, and humiliating me in my own home. Who the hell is D?" She rolled her eyes and said, "He's just someone who actually listens to me. Something you stopped doing years ago." My chest felt like it was caving in. I yelled, "You're planning to leave me, aren't you? Don't deny it, I read everything." She set her glass down calmly and said, almost smugly, "Maybe I am. Maybe I deserve better than being stuck with someone who doesn't make me feel alive anymore." I wanted to scream. To break something. Instead, I just stood there, trembling, while she walked upstairs without another word, like she had just dropped a bomb and left me in the ruins. I stood outside that hotel room door, shaking. Every instinct screamed at me to kick it open, drag her out, and expose everything right there. But then something clicked in my head. If I did that, I'd lose control. She'd twist it, spin the story, make me look like the crazy one. She'd been gaslighting me for months, and I was done letting her win. So I walked away. Not in defeat, but in silence. The next morning, I called an attorney. I laid everything out, the emails, the lies, the hotel. He told me I had more than enough to move forward with divorce and protect what I'd built over 23 years. That night, when she came home all sweet and acting like she just ran errands, I didn't even confront her. I smiled, played dumb, and let her believe I was still in the dark. Because now, it was my turn to prepare. Inside, I was boiling with rage and heartbreak, but for the first time in weeks, I also felt calm. I finally had a plan. She thought she was clever, but she had no idea I was already 10 steps ahead. Once I made the decision, everything shifted. I wasn't stumbling around in the dark anymore. I had purpose. I started quietly collecting everything. Bank statements. Credit card charges. Phone records. I discovered she'd been funneling money into a separate account, something I never would have noticed if I hadn't started digging. Every discovery was like another knife in the back. Not only was she cheating, she was planning her escape route, padding her finances behind my back. Meanwhile, I played the role of the clueless husband at home. I kissed her cheek goodnight, nodded through her excuses, and even pretended to believe her late work nights. But every time she left the house, I was cataloging her betrayal. My attorney advised me to keep quiet until everything was airtight. So that's what I did. I swallowed the rage, the hurt, the humiliation, and turned it into strategy. And strangely, with each piece of evidence I gathered, I felt stronger. Less like a victim. More like a man taking back control of his life. The woman sleeping under my roof was already gone. Now it was just a matter of making it official. I decided it was time to confront her one final time, but on my terms. I wanted everything out in the open, with no chance for her to gaslight or twist reality. I scheduled a surprise meeting under the guise of discussing our retirement plans. She came in wearing that smug, confident smile, thinking she still controlled the narrative. I placed the stack of emails, hotel receipts, and credit card statements on the table. My hands didn't shake. My voice didn't waver. She glanced at the pile, her eyes flickering for a second. And then, she laughed. "You really think this proves anything?" she said, trying to regain control. I let her try for a minute, and then I said coldly, "Every word, every hotel, every secret account, it's all here. I trusted you for 23 years, and you spent it planning a life without me. Do you understand how low that makes you?" For the first time, I saw a flicker of fear cross her face. She opened her mouth to speak, but no words came. And that's when I knew, the game was over. After I laid everything out on the table, she went quiet. The usual smirk, the dismissive laughs, the sharp words, all gone. She sat there, head down, twirling her wedding ring. For a long moment, neither of us spoke. Then she said softly, almost too quiet to hear, I didn't think you'd ever find out. I thought I had time." I felt a strange mix of anger and pity. She wasn't sorry for hurting me. She was sorry she got caught. Tears welled up in my eyes. I realized that after 23 years, the woman I thought I knew, the woman I loved, didn't exist anymore. She had been living a double life for months, maybe years, and I had been blind. I left the room to gather myself. Alone, I cried like I haven't in decades, not just for the betrayal, but for the future I had imagined that would never happen. When I returned, she didn't say a word. The silence spoke louder than anything she could have said. In the days that followed, I had a lot of time alone to think. The house felt empty in a way I hadn't imagined, even with her still living there. I realized something important. I didn't just lose my wife, I lost the illusion of her. And maybe, in some twisted way, that was a gift. I could finally see reality clearly and plan my life without lies clouding every decision. I reflected on the good years, the children we raised, the memories that were real. But I also acknowledged the pain she caused, the betrayal, the lies, the nights I spent doubting myself. Accepting that duality was hard, but necessary. I started journaling again, something I hadn't done in years. Every emotion, every thought, I poured onto paper. It hurt, but it helped. For the first time in months, I felt like I was reclaiming a sense of self. After a week of quiet reflection, I made a choice. I was not staying in a marriage built on lies. Not for the sake of appearances. Not for the kids. Not for anything. I contacted my attorney and started the process of separation. I organized finances, made plans for the house, and quietly prepared the kids, adult though they were, for the change. When I told my wife, she rolled her eyes, claimed I was overreacting, and muttered something about being dramatic. I let her speak. I didn't argue. I had nothing left to say. The relief I felt was overwhelming. It wasn't happiness, not yet, but it was freedom. Finally, I wasn't living under the weight of her lies anymore. For the first time in years, I could breathe without suspicion, without anger simmering under the surface. I was taking control of my life, my happiness, and my dignity. Looking back, I've learned a few harsh but invaluable lessons. Trust your instincts. I ignored the little red flags at first because I didn't want to believe the truth. Don't let fear or hope cloud reality. Document everything. When someone lies, facts are your armor. Emails, receipts, messages, they keep the truth clear. Control what you can. You can't control someone else's choices, but you can control how you respond and protect your future. Healing is a process. Anger, grief, betrayal, it's all normal. Give yourself time. Most importantly, don't let someone else's betrayal define you. She chose deception, I chose my dignity. I still grieve the marriage I thought I had, but I'm slowly reclaiming my life and my happiness. To anyone out there facing something similar, it hurts. It shatters you. But you can come out stronger on the other side. And sometimes, walking away with your head held high is the bravest, most powerful choice of all.